You're listening to the Full Court Press with your host, Drew Duncan. Don't you dare touch that dial. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Full Court Press. I am your host, Drew Duncan. You're checking me out live. Don't forget, you can always follow me on Twitter. That's at DrewDuncan83. Of course, the official fan page of Full Court Press is on Facebook at DrewDuncan83 as well. And for anybody that's on Instagram, I am on there at DrewDuncan83. Folks, there are comebacks and there are comebacks. There's a guy who's in a fight who may or may not win and comes back with an incredible defeat. There's teams that are down 16-13 and they come back to win, and then we see what happens in the Super Bowl. Those are phenomenal comebacks, and I am more than excited to announce one of the guys who may have very well have had comeback of the year at UFC 209. Everybody, please give a big welcome to Darren the Damage Elkins right here on the Full Court Press. Thank you so much for joining us today, sir.
Nope.
You know, first of all, I've got to ask you this, okay? I'm talking about comebacks and great things that happen in sports. Do you feel, though, that one single fight should define your entire career, who you are, or do you want people to look past that and see your overall body of work as well?
That's the fight that definitely put me on the map. But overall, I'm hoping this is just the start of it. But I'm hoping to build on from it. So I'm not really worried about. I'm glad that I had that experience. That's an awesome experience. I'm hoping to build on it, actually.
You know, you're coming into your next fight at 23-5, yet you're not really ranked high. To me, you're a fighter that's just overlooked. Does that kind of motivate you even further, especially when you've got obvious guys out like Woodley, Conor McGregor, et cetera, guys who are constantly in the spotlight, and then here's this kid with a really great record, and yet nobody seems to really know who you are?
Yeah, it motivates me. It doesn't really bother me so much. I want more attention. Hopefully this is going to be after this weekend be more and just keep on building from it. But it bothers me some, but at the same time, I just like to compete, and I'm glad I get to compete and do what I love to do. And I'm hoping that I'm going towards that area finally in my career.
Darren the Damage Elkins joining us right here on the Full Court Press. It is Facebook Friday here on the Full Court Press. On your social media timeline, what are some things that you're seeing right now that are either annoying you or things that you're kind of getting a kick out of?
I think about it. I guess it's just everything's up, Trump. It's kind of like, yeah, I understand where people are coming from, but man, that's everything.
Do you, obviously McGregor and Mayweather have been all over the press, whether it's social media and, this whole thing to me has just kind of gotten out of control. Everybody keeps trying to decide whether or not this is good for boxing and the UFC and all that kind of stuff. Do you think that it's kind of overmade and overhyped, or do you think that this fight is everything that everybody keeps saying that they want it to be and that it's going to be?
I think it could be a great fight, man. I really do. As far as overhyped, it's going to sell a ton of pay-per-views. This is going to happen, I'm going to watch it. I guarantee most people are going to watch it. So is it going to be overhyped? I hope it's going to turn out to be a great fight. The trash talking has been freaking entertaining. And it's definitely going to be a show, It's not just about, the words. It's the battle of words and everything like that. It's supposed to be entertaining about it.
Dana White has really been in the spotlight, probably more so now than ever, despite all the great things that he's already accomplished with the UFC. Obviously, you're a fighter in the UFC. What's it really like working with Dana White? He seems like the professional guy. He seems like the laid-back guy, but we've also heard him lay into some guys as well. What's your take on Dana White and your perception of him, especially with a guy who gets to work with him frequently as you?
I've always had a good experience with him, you know what I mean? And he criticizes, I know, but you know what? It's most of the time when you need a criticism. If you're going to any other job, you're not doing the job that you're supposed to do, you're gonna get criticized. They're gonna give you a pep talk. They're gonna have a talk with you, and I think that's what Dana White does. And yeah, maybe he does in the public, and people don't like that, but that's part of the job, man. We signed up for it, and I'm fine with it. I'm fine with good criticism and negative criticism. Those are part of the job. And I think, like I said, I've never had a bad experience with them. I mean, I've always had great things to say about Dana White, and he obviously built his company to what it is today.
Darren, you're a guy that's coming from the Midwest. You're from Indiana. I'm from Kansas, as a matter of fact. Do you think that the Midwest is somewhat overlooked in terms of what we do in any kind of sport? I mean, obviously, people respect the Indiana Hoosiers. I think there's still probably a level of respect for the Pacers out there and perhaps the Colts. But do you think that a lot of times in terms of other sports, boxing, MMA, other things that we do, that maybe we're kind of always flying under the radar and people don't really respect the fact that there is an MMA culture in the Midwest?
I mean, yeah, we're overlooked most of the time. I mean, when you look at areas where they get the fighters, they're not going to get it usually from just the Midwest. Go, I'm going to get a bunch of fighters from the Midwest. But, I mean, they're starting to breed a bunch of good fighters. I mean, there's a bunch of good fighters coming from the area, from the Chicagoland area, from Indiana. And do we get the attention of most of those other states? No. I mean, hopefully we get more. So.
Everybody, Darren, the Damage Elkins. Darren, I tell you what, man, we got to let you go. Obviously, you've got a lot going on. Best of luck to you. But before we get off the horn, man, I just want to tell you that you can just take a moment here and say anything you want to say to the fans out there listening right now.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Tune in to watch my fight this Saturday, and I appreciate all your support.
You're very welcome. Darren, thank you so much for being on the program with us today. Everybody, you just heard Darren, the Damage Elkins, right here on the Full Court Press. I am your host, Drew Duncan. We'll be back right after this. Don't you dare touch that dial.